What is up, old souls? This is Reed from Everyman Vintage. I've got a good one for you today. So I previously did a video on a 1959 Gibson Melody Maker 3/4 size guitar and a 1958 Champ. It's kind of highlighting this idea that kind of like student grade models in the late 50s, early 60s were quite a bit better quality than what you might see today, and that actually they can really rip in the right context and in the right scenarios. Now, I will still stand by all of those statements. However, it was brought to my attention, and I think rightfully so, that Fender and Gibson are kind of like top of the heap, right? Even though those are their like student models, there were other student models out there that were perhaps cheaper. And I think that is very much true. In fact, I think most people's first guitar wasn't a Gibson and their first amp wasn't a Fender. So today what I'm going to do is we're actually going to look at some student grade or budget oriented models from that time. So the guitar I've got for you, I'm eventually going to do a really cool storied sounds video on this because it has an amazing story, but this is an early 1960s old Craftsman value leader made by Kay. All right, and this is the 3 pickup version. I believe in 1960 the single pickup version was about 79 bucks. I think the 3 pickup was $99, so it wasn't cheap per se in the day in terms of inexpensive, but it was definitely a budget-oriented guitar. The amp I'm playing through is an early 1960s Univox. I have no idea. I have no idea what the model is. It's just a super killer amp. It's got a 12-inch 1961 Jensen speaker in it, and it's just a Japanese-made budget model from the early 1960s. It's got a really killer look to it. All right, but there's no mistaking that corners were cut when making it. You know, when you open it up, you know, the chassis isn't completely enclosed just to save on metal costs, and it's definitely a budget-oriented instrument. However, the amp is just really, really great, and there's a big soft spot in my heart for those early 1960s Univoxes. And so what I'm going to do today is pair those and stop talking and just let you hear them. All right, so before I do that, real quickly though, this guitar, like I said, has a really great story. Be on the lookout for that. She's had some issues. It sounds quite like a lawnmower if you're not facing in the right direction. I'm pretty sure I need to have some wiring work done on it, but I'm gonna play it anyway. All right, and this particular amp I got from somebody who was it was cleaning up someone's estate. Again, it's just a cheap old tube amp from back in the day, which is what I love. And it was missing the Univox badge, and I had found a number of pictures of amps that looked exactly like this, badge in the same location, that were branded Univox. I know they also did Lafayette amps and a number of other ones like that. So I had an artist friend of mine. His name is Todd Busher. I'm going to put a link to his artwork here. You should really check it out. No home is complete without a Todd Busher original piece of artwork. Great friend of mine, amazing artist. I just took a piece of black plexiglass, I kind of shaped it about based on the proportions I could find on pictures online, and he hand painted Univox on there so that it looks as it originally did. And so when I'm doing the demo, you'll definitely see images of this thing laid over top of it. So again, that's Todd Busher Studios. Check him out. An early 1960s K old Craftsman value leader and an early 1960s Univox amp. Check out the tone you could get for budget line instruments. Well, there you have it, old souls. An early 1960s Univox 12-inch combo amplifier with an early 1960s K branded old Craftsman value leader guitar going through it. I think the early 60s sounded pretty good, even if you didn't have a lot of money to spend. So what I'd really love is to hear what your first guitar was, what your first amp was, and what did that combination sound like? Do you think if you were starting out today you could get something similar for an equivalent amount of money? Do you think budget line instruments were better in the late 50s and early 60s than they are today? I'd covet your thoughts, and if you liked this video, please subscribe and hit the bell button so you can receive notifications for new content that I'm putting out. I'm Reed from Everyman Vintage. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.